What is good, Foundation Nation? We're out here today with the Captain's Raptor, newest disc from Discraft. This is a limited release happening once per year. Discraft is dropping them through a bunch of different retailers. We have some dropping technically tonight, if you're watching this, midnight, Friday, midnight AM Eastern time. You can check them out. They'll be live on the site. We did some pre-orders. They will also be shipping tomorrow if you ordered them. But if you just want to check out how it flies, that's what this video is for. So like I said, we're just gonna be throwing it a few different angles. This is the one I personally picked for my bag. Pretty sick, like pearly color shift.
Very cool.
Talking about the feel of the disc though, we got them in. All the ones that we have seen in our run are 173, 174. We haven't fully sorted, so there might be some that are lighter weight, but it seems like the majority, if not all, are max weight. They have a flat top to them, but a slightly rounded shoulder. So it kind of gives a look of dome, but this is the shape of pretty much all of them we have. We have hundreds, all are flat on top, rounded shoulder there. It makes it pretty comfortable for forehand, and it also makes it feel a bit deeper than the normal stock Raptor. I don't know if that's a combination of this shoulder or if the rim itself is actually deeper.
Now, how would you measure that? Because I tried at home, very hard to do with a measuring tape.
Yeah, you'd have to have a like special tool.
Almost like a tool to measure it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But regardless, it feels deeper than your typical Raptor, and it's supposed to be much more overstable. So that's what we're gonna do. Brodie and I are gonna be throwing these out in this field. We're gonna start it off with just a flat backhand and see how it does. Then I'll explain what I think of the flight, what looks different compared to the stock Raptors that I've thrown in the past. All right, so you might see this Gaga pit out in the field. If you don't know what a Gaga pit is, it's that green looking thing out there. The front of that, Brodie just told me, is 320 feet from where we're throwing. So keep that in mind, keep that as a reference. So we're gonna throw these flat first, as flat as we can, and just see how they react. Moved into frame, didn't I?
I don't know if you do this in yours, but I'm gonna do an old Raptor versus the new one, the Captain Raptor.
I just asked if you had a normal Raptor, you said no.
Oh, I thought you were saying, because technically I got like the Team
Discraft
Discraft stamped. I mean, this is the same exact thing, but they just did an extra stamp. I thought you were talking about if I had this.
This is perfect. I want a comparison.
Yeah,
Perfect.
so you can kind of see.
He's just holding out on you.
How this one flies for me.
So this is the normal stock.
Yeah,
Raptor.
I'm looking for this to not really get any, I don't really want this to have any sort of turn, but I want it to be like roughly around like 375-ish. So it should be able to fly well over that.
Very little bit of turn. Solid finish.
Yeah, so that is like what I'm looking at of like a normal Raptor, is something that I know like isn't going to flip over on me, but it's gonna have a finish at the end. 375. This I want to be able to not throw over like 350. So this should just go just past that.
Not even.
That's landing that's probably landing at 320 and probably skipping out to like 335.
So boom. So that's a good example, both all thrown flat. I would guess, I don't think mine broke 300. I don't think mine sniffed 300. So now,
see if you can get over 300. Are you going Annie now?
I'm gonna go Hyzer next.
Oh, Hyzer. Okay.
I'm gonna just throw this out on Hyzer. More so, I mean, it's gonna get to the ground fast. I'm more interested in the ground play. Kind of hard ground out here. Interested in what type of skip we can get, because coming in on a tight angle like this, you kind of expect a long flaring skip, and that's the type of shot I like throwing with discs that are this overstable.
When you saw mine, mine probably skipped a good 40, 50 feet left.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put this on probably a little bit of Hyzer, nothing crazy, somewhere in that range.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
That has a lot of benefits for those flare skips.
That's kind of like, in my head, I'm picturing like a dog leg left. You want to hit something on the ground and just have it almost skip immediately diagonally left. But we'll let Brodie throw the Hyzer down.
So I'm gonna do more of, I don't throw that shot all that often, but one that I do throw is a Hyzer, it's pretty much a Hyzer spike. So this is one that I don't think this is enough disc to even get there, but let's say I wanted to have something come up and down about 300 feet. This might be the disc. So I'm just gonna give it a little more height, aim a little bit more to the right. Oh, I actually got, I mean, I put a little more mustard on it.
Yeah.
But that was good because I just like being able to toss something up and know that, I mean, I was trying to land it in that thing and it just landed just too deep.
Now Annie.
Annie,
Yeah.
are you okay?
Yeah, I'm shocked at how far you're able to throw that.
I was thinking the same
I'm
thing.
kind of mad about
I mean, I'm starting to throw far
Yeah,
again.
this disc, I'm muscling it to get to maybe 300, maybe.
I'm
You
gonna
just
be,
pump
yeah,
that
let's
on
see
a
if you can get this,
sky high.
let's see if you can get this Annie over the Gaga.
I suck at Anhyzer, so we're gonna try.
See if you can get this over.
If you remember from the loft video. Oh, that was an Anhyzer.
That's potential.
That was an Anhyzer, Hunter.
Get
Get in there. Oh,
like
okay, I mean,
320.
that's even with it.
So full flex 320. I put that on quite a bit of Annie.
I was just proud of you getting it on Anhyzer.
I was proud of myself. A lot less Annie than me.
I don't throw with,
Nice.
yeah, I don't throw with incredible amounts of Annie, but I think this disc too is probably a good disc for me to work on because it allows you to actually get, I mean, because it's not really useful when you're trying to throw Annie or trying to practice like flex shots. Not really useful to throw something where you throw on Annie and it just burns over.
Yeah.
So this is a disc that I don't know if I could actually throw it into a roller. It'd be very difficult. So it'd be actually a good disc for me to practice those flex lines. And actually, like Hunter just said, that wasn't as much Annie as his. So working on trying to get more Annie on it to work on those kind of flex lines.
And one thing too that Anhyzer shots show you in a field, because we're dealing with basically no wind out here, is it'll show you the resistance to turn. Because like if you throw a disc that's flippy, flat into a headwind, it'll turn and burn. And you can kind of get a good gauge of what a disc is going to react like that in a headwind by putting it on Anhyzer if there's not headwind. So what this disc basically shows you is if you were to throw this flat into a headwind, you got nothing to worry about.
Because it's just going to fly straight for a little bit and
a
then
little bit
go
longer
left.
and then dump.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I ripped that on quite a bit of Anhyzer and it fought to flat and got all the way over. And so, whereas some of the Raptors I've thrown in the past, if I put it on that much Anhyzer, they kind of slowly pan to the right. He's probably gonna give me a very overstable Raptor.
No.
This is a normal Raptor?
This for you, this is probably a normal Raptor. For me, this is my flippy Raptor.
Okay, so this is probably like a Raptor I've thrown in the past. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this on the same amount of Anhyzer. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not even
There
gonna
you
come
go.
out.
There you go. So I feel like I ripped that about the same way. So that's
It looks
a
like
good,
you did.
That's a good example of the overstability difference between the normal Raptor and the Captain's Raptor. We're gonna throw a few forehands, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on the disc itself, who I think it's good for, who I think it's bad for, and what to expect if you're picking one up. All right, so now we're gonna go with a few forehands. I'm gonna throw these two flat and these two on Anhyzer.
Those are the regular ones.
No, so this silver one's the regular, and this blue one's the regular, and then the orange and this blue, I'll flip them like this, are the Captain's Raptor.
Oh, okay.
So that way I'll have two flat, two Anhyzer, and then Brodie will throw his three however he's feeling.
I'll go flat and then probably two Anhyzer.
And
This
then,
is not, well, I mean, I could do a dark horse like Hyzer one.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
And then I'll give you a summary and final thoughts on it after that. So we'll go with the flat forehand first. We'll go with the flat normal Raptor first here. All right, and then we'll go flat Captain's Raptor. Yeah. I mean, I basically hit the ground vertical. I suck at Annie forehands, but I'm gonna try.
I believe in you.
I mean, that was probably the worst Annie forehand anyone's ever thrown in the history of man. But this is what you're here to see, so just ignore that one. Cut that out of your brain. I'll give this more height on Anhyzer. There we go.
That's
that,
great.
That was almost like a summer flight
Yeah.
out of it.
All right, we'll go flat, Hyzer, and then we'll save the big boy at the end. Hyzer, I'm gonna almost do kind of like a spike Hyzer, like 250. See if it gets almost vertical.
Pretty much.
Yeah. See, that's nice because then it's like you don't even have to worry about skip or anything. It just basically hits and drops.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what this thing can do flex line here.
Nudge.
I cranked it over.
You did.
But it came out a little bit.
You probably should have had you throw the other Raptor on Annie, because it probably would have rolled.
That would have been a roller.
Yeah.
That would have been a forehand roller.
All right, so there you have it. There is the Captain's Raptor. Final thoughts on this disc. Honestly, I think stability-wise, it's like a very overstable Firebird. I think the closest thing I've thrown stability-wise might be like an OG H1 from Prodigy. That one might have it on a hair on stability, but similar way that it wants to get to the ground like this. And that used to be in my bag for a while. And what I personally loved about it was headwind, you didn't have to worry about. Skips were great with it. You could plan like a lot of like big flare skips that almost came backwards. Anhyzer, a lot of flex shots, you could really shape it. That's what I feel like this disc is gonna be. Biggest difference is this seems to fit in that like, not quite a tilt, but that almost novelty stability category, but it has enough glide to make it usable. So it does actually want to stay in the air, as you saw in the Anhyzer forehands, as you saw Brodie throw it 350, and I was able to get it a little over 300, whereas a disc like the Tilt and the OG H1 had that flight characteristic at the end, but it didn't have that glide to make it usable. And so I could rip it as hard as I want, and it was only going 280, 260. Didn't matter. And so in a round, that just wasn't reasonable for me, because I could put a Firebird in and be able to push over 300 feet. Whereas this one gives me that stability, but also gives me that push. With that being said, if you're a newer player, you don't need this disc. You're gonna want this disc, I know that, but you don't need it, because it is gonna be too overstable. A normal Raptor is gonna fly like this for you. So this is essentially the advanced pro player's Raptor, if that makes sense. So if you started the game, you got a Raptor, you loved how you're able to throw it on Annie, have it flex, you loved how you're able to throw it flat and it faded, then you got better and the Raptor started going straighter on you, and you know it started to fly less like you wanted it and you're getting frustrated. This is gonna fly like the Raptor you remember when you couldn't throw as far, when you were only throwing 250, 260. So more advanced players, pro level players, this is like the perfect overstable disc for you. I also think this would be great for people with big overhands. I'm not one of those people, so I'm not even gonna bother trying to throw one, but I can tell by the flight that it's gonna be one of the like slow pans, get back type discs. A lot of versatility, a lot of usability. As always on this channel, gotta give it a certified score. I'm going with an 8.2. I think that they've really done a good job, 8.2 out of 10. I think they've really done a good job in balancing the overstability with enough glide to make it usable. Reason I'm not going higher is simply because I don't think I'll ever give a super overstable disc like 9 or higher, just because it's not usable for the entire disc golf market. There's a lot of players that probably shouldn't be throwing this disc just based on the overstability, but what they tried to accomplish here, they did perfectly, which is a disc that has a controllable amount of glide, get you enough distance to make it usable while still having that insane overstability that we all want and desire. And it's the reason we all bought tilts, and probably only half of us are throwing them anymore. This is the disc we all thought it was going to be. So super excited about it. Drops tomorrow. You can check them out at foundationdisc.com. We've got quite a few, but yeah, there it is, the Captain's Raptor. See you in the next one.